Welcome everybody to the fourth nomination for the Physical Film Awards of 2025, and it is Best Label. So this is only going to be five nominations for this one. I don't really have 10 to nominate because five have, for the most part, have been the ones that there's only been really five that have properly stood out. Not to say that there haven't been other labels that have done certain excellent stuff. Second Sight have released a few really great films. Screenbound, Criterion Collection and such. But these five are the ones I've been most impressed by. So firstly, we're going to start off with Eureka, who have released umpteenth amount of box sets so far this year. We've had the likes of the Dr. Mabusa box set, which, yeah, just a really rather enjoyable box set overall, and it was really nice to see Gert throw up in something that isn't the Bond series. And then we also had the Furious Swords and Fantastic Warriors box set. Not overly great in certain regards. There are a couple of films in there that I wasn't massively fond of, but still really interesting to see a load more films from Chang Che. Then we had the Rack and Ruin Rubble film. Not consistent with its overall theming of the Rubble film, to be honest. It only really came into it, I think, in the first two or three. Um, but still, overall, a really rather interesting box set. And again, it's opened my eyes to more films from Germany, more films from that kind of period, and yeah, really did evoke the kind of post World War II kind of era really rather nicely. Then we had the Terror in the Fog, the Wallace Crimi box set. Didn't start off the greatest with the Curse of the Yellow Snake, but it definitely picked up into subsequent films, and yeah, again, just really interesting to see more German films from within the horror genre this time, rather than crime or drama. And then we also had Strange New Worlds, science fiction at DEFA. Again, German box set, but absolutely fantastic for the most part when it comes to sci-fi. I'm a massive fan of sci-fi, especially when it comes to the miniature work and the kind of the kind of operatic style that some come across with. And then he's up on that with scores and the visuals and such. And yeah, all just excellent in that regard. But then there was also a load of single disc releases as well that I was mightily impressed by. We had the likes of, sorry if you can hear that, Shogun Samurai, which is one of my favourites from this year. Bells of Death, again, another favourite from this year. Then we had a fairly decent Chow Yun Fat action film, Flaming Brothers. And then we also had The Legend of the Eight Samurai, another Kinji Fukusaka film that is just really rather great. And then to top that off, we had a few 4Ks as well from them. We had High Noon, which is one of the best westerns of its period. Cure, which is another good film from Kiyoshi Kurosawa. And then The Old Dark House, which I actually came to appreciate a little bit more as well upon this release. So, yeah, they've overall done a really rather bang up job, to be honest. Eureka are actually one of the few labels that I've sold nothing from, unless there's been a 4K release of a film that I already own from them. Unlike other labels where I have sold some stuff off from them due to just not enjoying them enough or not feeling that they reflect my collection enough. So, that does really stand them in good stead. Really, to be honest, is the fact that I've kept absolutely pretty much everything from them, other than the ones that have had a 4K release either from them or from someone else. So yeah, they've done really rather well. Then we've also had Radiance Films, which have also knocked it out the park for the most part with their box set. So we had the World Noir number volume 3 and 4. Was a little bit annoyed by 4 in terms of the fact that it was prioritizing one country rather than multiples, like previous box sets. But then they also knocked it out of the park with the likes of the Shinobi box set, which brought us the fourth, fifth, and sixth films in that series, which are really rather enjoyable. One of the most consistent series that I've ever watched films from. Then we had the Wicked Games box set. Again, a really consistent box set, 4 stars all the way for each three of the three films, and yeah, really enjoyable. Although I will say the Wicked Go to Hell is still my favourite of the three, and that was the first one. Then we had the Dai Gothic Volume 2 box set. Only annoyance with this one was the fact that it doesn't say Volume 2 on it, it just says Dai Gothic, which is the exact same as the first box set. So, yeah, you really need to know that this is a box set that has these films in it, rather just based on the color more than anything. That's the only slight against that box set. But still, the films themselves are really, really great. Then we also had probably one of my favorite absolute box sets would be the hard boiled one, three pulp fillers from Alain Corneo. Sensational films for the most part with that one. Then there was a bunch of single disc releases, and even though I wasn't massively blown away by the film, I did really, really enjoy it regardless. And that was Daughters of Darkness, a really nice hard box single disc release. And then there were the normal plastic single disc releases like Rosa the Rose, one of the most engrossing films I've seen this year. Couldn't keep my eyes off it. Then we had The Betrayal, one of the best Japanese films of the year I've seen in 2025. Then we had the double release of God of You and Mortel Randomly. So yeah, one of the which was also in 4K. And finally, we had The Man from Mallorca, following up from which one was it? Can't remember now. It was. Why do I never find the film that I want? I'm really looking forward. Basically, it was from the guy that did the previous one that I was also really enjoyed. Also gave it 4.5 out of 5. Oh yeah, The Man on the Roof, which came out a while ago. But yeah, really nice to find get another film from the same director, similar in a lot of ways, but still excellent regardless. So yeah, all of those were absolutely superb. Oh yeah, I forgot from Eureka they also released The Ambulance, which really enjoyed. More Larry Cohen films on Blu-ray, please, or better. Then there was Vinegar Syndrome, not the most in terms of sheer volume, unlike Radiant's films or Eureka, but they've just put out a lot of films that I've just enjoyed. Not in sheer volume, but in terms of enjoying them regardless. So, the likes of The Resurrected, nice to finally get the second and only other film from Dan O'Bannon on 4K, no less, as well. And then we had The Terranauts, very cheap film, obvious in the way that effects are done, but highly enjoyable regardless. I'm really into, these kind of sci-fi films from the 50s and 60s, and this is from the late 60s, and it's done by Amicus Productions as well, who have done a great deal of horror films that I've enjoyed. Then we had Men from the Gutter. Only slight from this film release is the fact that it doesn't stay in on its own. So that's just the only slight annoying from it. But again, a really rather decent Hong Kong action film. Then we had Sleepless, which is the newest Dario Argento film that I've seen and owned. I have seen Dark Glasses, which is really rather good. But I was kind of, a bit wary about his other films post, 80s, because I've not heard the greatest from them. But yeah, this was really, really good. And again, another really excellent looking 4K from them. Then another 4K release they did was The Man Who Could Cheat Death. The main reason I like this is because it splits apart. This is the kind of thing that Vinegar Syndrome do better than pretty much anyone else, is the physical quality. And yeah, just looks absolutely great and fits in with the theme of the film as well. Then we had The Dark Half, far from my favourite George A. Romero film, but another film we got on 4K and another really rather good physical quality box there. Then we had, I think this came out this year. To be honest, I don't know. It doesn't say on the back, but I think it came out this year, and it was Sky Pirates, a really well decent release from, or I think it's Umbrella, is it? Yeah. So they released some of their films via Vinegar Syndrome instead of just on their own. Then we had Fire Maidens of Outer Space. Again, not a particularly great film, but it's enjoyable enough, I guess. It's just, yeah, if you're used to your low budget, low quality efforts from likes of the 50s and 60s in terms of the sci-fi genre, then you know entirely what you are getting in for. And I do know what I'm getting in for now, and I enjoy them regardless. And finally, another monster film. They've released obviously several in the past. Go-Go, which I obviously have sold just to get the. I think it was Screenbound that released a 4K version as well, and just purely because it came with more physical extras. But they also did Reptilicus, and I think that was it. Oh yeah, Kuruku Beast from the Amazon and such and such. So yeah, the fact they also released Yongari, which has languished on the likes of VHS for God knows how long, and then finally released it on 4K no less. Yeah, it's just really, really great, and I just really am a big fan of big monster films, basically. So yeah, more like this on 4K or otherwise would be very, very welcome. So that is the third nomination. Fourth nomination would be Imprint. And this is purely because of volume more than anything. It's because we got numerous box sets from them that have been enjoyable. So really enjoyed the fifth and sixth Adventure Collection box sets, as well as the ninth, I think it was. Eighth. Eighth. Nearly got the number right. Eighth box set. That purely because we've got two Vincent Price films on Blu-ray. Massive fan of Vincent Price, so any film release that is going to have him involved in some regard is always going to be coming towards the top of my list. I am running out of space to put these things. Then we also got the David Lean Volume 1 box set. Already seen Brief Encounter and loved it, but then really rather enjoyed the other 5 films as well. So yeah, on the whole, a really, really excellent box set and pretty chunky as far as box sets go. And let them fall. Sorry if that shut the camera. We also had a few individual disc releases as well from them that were enjoyed. The Liberation of LB Jones, which I know got a UK release after this one was released, but still, pretty a damn good film. Then we had Swashbuckler, which was entertaining. And then You Only Live Once, one of my favourite 30s films from this year. And finally, we also had a 4K release in the form of In the Heat of the Night. So, yeah, which is on a really rather nice hard box. So, yeah, on the whole, a great releases from Imprint there. And then finally, fifth and final nomination is Arrow Video, and that's purely because again of volume. This is just some of the 4Ks that are released. Some of my all-time favorite films, especially with the Man with No Name trilogy, The Long Kiss Goodnight, Life Force, Andromeda Strain, and Don't Touch a Duckling. These are some of them. But then they also released all of these as well. Oh dear. I hope they're the right way around. I think they are. Maybe it's this way around. But regardless, yeah. Again, Taking Your Pelham 123, another favourite. Dark City. We had The Stuff, The Thief, Outland, The Apartment, Witness, Return of the Living Dead, In the Mouth of Madness, all films that are just absolutely superb. And yeah, Arrow Video just knocked it out of the park with their 4K releases. There have been some which I don't feel like there is their kind of remake. Poseidon remake, decent enough film, but it's not the kind of film I'd expect from Arrow Video. The Mask as well, not particularly their kind of film. I feel like, but even so, these did put effort into those 4K releases, and they were, at the end of the day, solid physical aspects to them as well. Then we also had the box set V Cinema Essentials, Bullets and Betrayal. We haven't actually had as many box sets as we have in the past from Arrow Video this year. We obviously had the Arrow Video Store box set in the previous year. Then we've had the Western ones as well. The Blood Money and Vengeance Trails, as well as the Critters box set. So, yeah, nowhere near as many box sets this year from Arrow Video, but still, this was really rather good. It was only really the last film that I didn't enjoy. The rest of them were really rather enjoyable for the most part. So, yeah, and that was all good. And then one of my favourite 2025 releases in the UK, as far as UK release dates go, would be The Last Stop in Yuma County. Really enjoyable, low budget film. I think it only cost about $1 million. And yeah, got a great cast, great setting, really tense. Got one of the best practical explosions that I've seen in a modern film for quite some time as well. So, yeah, just an overall superb film and a really, really good release as well that I don't think many people have really bothered with, to be honest. I don't think it got too many views on this channel. So, yeah, just a really, really good film on Blu-ray, to be honest. So, yeah, on the whole, a fantastic year for those 5 labels. To be honest, it's really going to be a struggle to decide between each of them, whether or not go for volume or quality, or just whether or not I enjoy most of the films from that label overall. Because obviously, I've not shown everything from each of these labels. There are some here that I haven't shown, you know, like Radiance Films with the Radical Japan box set, which, like I said in my end review of the final film in that box set, because that box set wasn't overall consistently great, that could well harm their chances in this nomination. So, yeah, but still, on the whole, a fantastic film array of films from each of the labels. There are clearly more films that I've enjoyed from each of them than not enjoyed. So, yeah, it's going to be a real struggle to decide. But nonetheless, I'd like to hear what your favourite label has been this year. And yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.